I've touched on invincibility and invisibility very briefly without going into the depths of how this was possible, and in today's video I wanted to do just that and showcase the entire route and process that it took to actually achieve these things, which are now patched of course and cannot be used for malicious purposes, as well as which I myself did not use for malicious purposes, and even made it a clear point to Jagex that I wanted this fixed due to the fact that of how overpowered it could truly be. As well, all of you know that I like unique and trophy accounts, and I like using some mechanics and exploits in order to get these kind of accounts that I want, and today we're going to be making the first of its kind in the entire old school RuneScape community, a 99 attack 10 HP peer. So I asked my good friend FL, who has a 99 defense 10 HP account, how long it actually takes to make these 99 stat accounts with only 10 HP, as the only currently viable method to do this is through dig site finds, which are around 1.75k XP per hour, or for a 99 stat being about 7,430 to 7,460 total hours. And the 99 attack peer with 10 HP is still one of these builds which has not yet been completed by any of the dig site find community. So today, in order to make this very unique and one-of-a-kind account, being the first of its kind in the actual game, I'll be cutting down that entire playtime from 7,500 hours to only 2 hours with a very unique strategy. Once again, I'm a very strong believer in the motto, think smarter, not harder. This video once again will be showcasing exploits and bugs as a refreshing take on RuneScape, as well as just educating all of you as to how powerful some of these bugs can be, and if they're in the wrong hands, they could be used for much worse things than what I'm doing today, which is extremely harmless in comparison. I know a lot of you don't actually enjoy watching bugs and just call me a straight out cheater, so this next segment of the video is just for all of you, as it won't be including any of these exploits or mechanics that I love to use. And that is the segment from our wonderful sponsor for today's episode, being Manscaped. This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, and if you've watched my channel for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of Manscaped and their Perfect Package Kit. And as of recent, they've sent me their newest model of the lawnmower, being the 4.0, so let's see what's new. The new trimmer here has these advanced ceramic blades with skin-safe technology, and this helps reduce nicks and cuts and can be easily replaced with a fresh new blade so you can groom with confidence. Another feature I love about the new 4.0 is that it comes with a charging station, meaning I don't even have to leave my computer. I know many of you don't like to do that as well, so I can literally take this right here, dock it right there, and bam, it's charging perfectly by my desk, and I can go mow the lawn anytime I please. The Lawnmower 4.0 is also cordless and waterproof, so you can trim in the shower, which means it has a super easy cleanup. Are you a shaggy boy like myself? Well, now you don't have to look like a porn star. Instead, the 4.0 comes with all these different sizes of guards you can use to trim to whatever length you want down there in your bushes. So what are you waiting for? There's 2 million men out there who trust Manscaped.com as well as myself, and you can get 20% off plus free international shipping when you use promo code Rendi at Manscaped.com. So why am I combining two of the most odd things into one video? Invincibility and a 99 attack build that's never been achieved? Well, the two journeys kind of coincided, to be honest, sheerly out of luck. In fact, my original goal for this entire journey right here was just to look cool and to be invisible and fuck with people as an invisible man. This quickly took a turn for something grander than I ever would have expected though, as my thought process decided to test one thing after another, with the thought of, well, what exactly happens to my character when it becomes uninvisible? Is uninvisible even a word? To achieve my original goal of just being a bad troll with invisibility, I went looking for cutscenes I could Ring of Life out of with bat bones to leave as an invalid means and re-interface with something such as another stackable interface like skill level ups, which is also something I mentioned in my last video. Skill level ups are stackable interfaces on top of themselves. So right here I would brew up to 13 HP, bat bone while I was at 13 HP for the maximum hit of the bat bone. Then divine while interfaced to make my HP around 3 HP, wait for my HP to then regenerate, get a skill level up, and then go into the cutscene where I could then unbat bone, as well as have the Ring of Life take effect and teleport me out. From here, I would click off that interface and have my skilling interface in the queue behind it and then I would end up in Lumbridge with my Ring of Life, invalidly leaving this cutscene, which applies an invisibility effect to my character. Based on what I wanted to do with the invisibility, sometimes I would also have to use force teleports like the Dragon Slayer cutscene force teleport covered in my last video out of these cutscenes to smuggle the effect of invisibility behind more interfaces. That is because I cannot teleport with the Batbone effect. Now, I covered Ned's cutscene on the Dragon Slayer boat last video, so if you want to look into that more, go check out that video in the description below. But to do most of the invalid leaves involving the Dragon Slayer force teleport at this time, I once again used stackable interfaces gathered from the Trouble Brewing lobby. So why Trouble Brewing lobby again? Well, for every minute you're in the lobby on a world that's properly set up while a game is running and lacking players on that team, an interface will stack over one another, which I could transport with nulled right-click actions and interface walks, and the hard actions I mentioned in prior videos to be moving around this entire time while holding a massive amount of Trouble Brewing interfaces. And interfaces are something I'll need for this entire process of invisibility and even later invincibility. As a brief summary, the hard actions basically allowed for only one interface of the many I gathered in Trouble Brewing to be consumed for every right-click action I would have to take during the route on such as an object or an NPC. This meant to transport even more interfaces, I would need to prepare a lot of them at Trouble Brewing lobby, sometimes going back inside new games and sitting here in the lobby for over an hour just to gather around 70 interfaces before routing my account into a cutscene. The cutscenes I would have to look at were the ones which in fact your player is never shown and therefore is taken into an invisible state. This bug goes back many years. In fact, I remembered watching a video on this in pre-EOC where simply teleporting out with a summoning familiar in the beginning of the contact cutscene triggered an invisibility effect. I tried this same cutscene in OSRS though, and to my dismay, well, it never worked. So anyways, after my mini test with cutscenes, I finally found the one that made me invisible, and that was the last cutscene from A Tale of Two Cats quest. So I would need to utilize an account that had not yet completed this quest just to fuck around with the invisibility effect. After having some brief fun with the simple yet mindless invisibility effect I held with interfaces, I noticed something weird when you actually come out of those interfaces and therefore the invisibility, and that was it was sort of a refresh of your entire player. So I asked myself further, what if I gathered invisibility through this cutscene, then gathered more interfaces after the refresh by going back to Trouble Brewing while I'm invisible, or by leveling up more skills, then hold this refresh to go within other places such as within other cutscenes. And doing this with skill level ups seemed to be a temporary solution, although I could not get many interfaces backed up this way. But if I wanted more interfaces on the back end of this bug, there was one small issue. I could not get back into Trouble Brewing lobby to get more interfaces because the game still thought I had a cat while inside of this invisible state, and therefore my cat had yet not come out of my body either, and I could not figure out a way to get this cat out in order to pick it up and get it out of my inventory. Other than the only way that I could figure out doing this, by actually killing myself at Nettles, therefore releasing my cat, before then going back to the Trouble Brewing lobby to get more interfaces after that invisibility effect took place, and even though now I was technically visible, the refresh was still in the queue. Just like you saw in my episode 1 of Defense Pier Saga, I was able to do exactly this, by gathering yet another set of interfaces after enacting the invisibility effect to hold me inside the cutscene. I was then able to refresh out of the invisibility effect behind another set of interfaces while in that cutscene. This once again allowed me to virtually free walk in cutscenes and even interact with some of these cutscene environments as I've shown in my first episode. My questions weren't through here though. As I've stated so many times before, I love trophy accounts. And at this time, I really wanted to complete quests like Creature of Frankenstein and the Shades of Morton quest on a level 3, which I've now actually achieved and actually have a video on. But anyways, I thought of a way I maybe could do this at the time, being invisible or immune to NPCs, such as the Vampire or Abador Crank, which would kick me out of the territory of Mortania once realizing I should not be there without the quest Priest in Peril completed. Well, I noticed something. While you are scrying, you are actually invincible and undetectable to NPCs and likely even other players, and hell, your white dot doesn't even show up on the minimap. So the thought was, what if I could smuggle this effect of invincibility from the scry somehow? From here, I tried the same technique similar to refreshing my tabs in a cutscene, but this time I would try it within a player-owned house's scry. Might I add, to gather enough interfaces for any of these endeavors, I would need an account with the actual quest done required for Trouble Brewing to access the teleport back there with the rum while interfaced. That's because this rum is a one-tick enacted teleport, meaning that's the only type you can do behind interfaces. And the simple reason for needing the actual quest for Mostly Harmless here versus just running through the scry is I would already be scryed, so how would I do this failsafe method to get into Mostly Harmless? Well, I couldn't, because the failsafe itself was a low priority force teleport, which would only take effect after the scry effect had been disabled in the queue, which relied on all of my interfaces to collapse before I would get out of that scry mode. So there was no way to scry walk into Mostly Harmless and then make my way to Trouble Brewing on an account that had not yet done Cabin Fever. So I would need a very specific account built with only Tale of Two Cats quest almost completed, but not yet, as well as an account with Cabin Fever completed and several bottles of rum prepared and gathered from actually playing and using the reward points from the Trouble Brewing minigame itself. As well, this account would even need Dragon Slayer not yet completed to force teleport back to that boat with Ned's cutscene effect to get out of the Tale of Two Cats cutscene. I know, a really weird account this one was, with a super fucked up quest list nonetheless. So what was the entire process in mind? I would have to empty my inventory for Trouble Brewing games. I would then gather Trouble Brewing interfaces for a couple of games. I would then teleport with a glory to Draenor in a world where I knew where Bob the Cat was, hard action my bank, pulling out a bottle of rum for a teleport since the earlier minigame Trouble Brewing made me bank everything. I then would rush to the Dragon Slayer cutscene with Ned and then teleport with the rum out of it back to Trouble Brewing. After drinking the rum, I would be holding this force teleport still behind at least another 10 interfaces from Trouble Brewing. From here, I would go back into Trouble Brewing to get yet another set of 18 interfaces to come into effect after I was to come out of the Tale of Two Cats cutscene and invalid leave back onto the boat. I then would teleport back to Draenor again, this time pulling out a cat speak amulet and a cat required for the cutscene. As well, I would pull out some things to warrant my death later on in order to get out of that invisibility form and release my cat. I then would head over to Bob the Cat and start the cutscene. I'd then kill the remaining first interfaces gathered to then be force teleported back to Ned's boat with yet another set of 18 interfaces and now invisibility. I now was invisible, but I needed to kill my cat, of course, in-game, and therefore I needed to also kill myself. So I made my way over to Edgeville, got the proper gear out of the bank, and enacted this death with a rum still in my inventory. From here, I'd go back to Trouble Brewing for yet a third total time to gather as many interfaces as I could, sometimes 2 or 3 games worth, and finally make my way to a player-owned house and Portal Nexus. From inside this Nexus and Scry effect, I would destroy the very few remaining interfaces and bam, the invisibility to visibility refresh and tab unlock would occur while inside the Scry, leaving me with a remaining 2 to 3 games of Trouble Brewing interfaces left. Although this worked and my tabs were unlocked, weirdly enough I would still be invisible. Hell, I would still not even have a white dot on the minimap for myself. And the most awkward thing was, I couldn't even speak. That's because the Scry form makes you invisible as well, and these are the effects I had smuggled out, meaning my invisible refresh did not actually make me re-visible. So now not only was I actually invisible, but I was invincible as well. But there was a problem. I couldn't attack anything in this form. Trust me, I tried. In a menacing way, on these guards at Varrock.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
And got this really fucking weird game message telling me to just simply log out. So I thought to myself, how could I override this game message? Well, I went through this extremely fucked up process a few more times with a different twist each time at the end. For instance, I would try to go into a penguin suit form or even a monkey form with a Grigri, then demorph. This is because you can't naturally attack as a penguin or a monkey anyways, and I wanted to see if demorphing from these effects would possibly give your character's abilities to attack back once again. Nope. Anyways, even with all of these insane theories, it seemed like nothing worked after just fucking around with this insanely intricate process. I couldn't even cast manual spells on NPCs either, which I thought might as well be a workaround for all of this. I tried dying, but that had just made me visible, so I figured that the entire effect of invincibility had ended at this point. So now I thought the idea of truly overriding this effect to attack other NPCs or players was impossible. That is until I decided to go troll some people inside a competitive LMS game with this invincibility and invisibility effect, which at the time I didn't know I would even be able to attack with. But to my surprise, as soon as I was teleported into the LMS game, my character went to be visible, and I instantly thought, oh, well the effect was over, it must have killed it. But based upon the reactions of people around me, well, it seemed it wasn't.
What?
So I carried on throughout that LMS game, literally finding out that I could attack my opponent here and remain invincible. But I didn't actually want to affect the outcome of this game and cheat my way to the top, as once again I really don't like doing things that harmfully affect other players in the game, so I literally just went out and killed myself in the fog.
My account must be bugged. Going to just go kill myself in the fog.
After the death, I called over my friend Mauler to come to the free-for-all portal, as I still had some interfaces left, and I wanted to see if he could still not attack me even after the game was over. And well, he couldn't. I was legitimately invincible, and I could attack him back. this also made me realize something even further. I was able to die in the fog and remain with the invincibility effect intact, meaning likely when I died earlier in my testing and just imagined it to be a fluke when I became uninvisible and never tested it afterwards to be truly invincible still, that likely the LMS teleport into the game wasn't even needed at all. I could literally probably just go kill myself and refresh my character state and attack others possibly without even needing to go into the stupid LMS game and waste like 40 extra interfaces and a lot more time. So next, I decided to go through the whole setup once again on this extremely fucked quested account. But because I had extra interfaces since the plan was to just die at Nettles instead of running through an entire LMS game, I also wanted to test just one more theory, and that was what would happen if I tried to complete a quest while holding a bunch of interfaces. I went about doing this ironically with the most random quest I could think of that was super easy at the time, being Death Plateau. And when I turned in the reward, nothing popped up such as a quest completion screen, and the quest was still yellow in my quest book. I was confused and even tried talking to this NPC again, but surprisingly found that yet again the quest did not complete. After this, I just thought of it as a whatever or fluke, and headed to Clan Wars Free-for-All portal to test the invincibility effect to see if it worked with simply a death rather than that entire teleport into LMS, and to my surprise, it did work, once again without LMS needed entirely. I could hard action my attacks wasting 0 interfaces per attack with the stat tab method of 0 interfaces per 1 tick use of hard actions. It was a breakthrough and was truly fucked up. The possibilities with this were endless, and if I was some more sinister fucking person, I could have just broken the entire duel arena with some kind of scuffed quest account and this invincibility effect. But fortunately, once again, I was not, despite what everyone else fucking says. I mean, did you see the countless amounts of staking streamers on a daily basis getting fucked over by someone who was invincible at this time? Yeah, me neither. Either way, I didn't really care. I did not even try to use this effect past the day I figured it out. In fact, at this time I was still a little intrigued in invincibility and how it could possibly not affect other players in other instances of the game, but I figured out another insanely ridiculous method besides invincibility this day, and that was the ability to repeat quest rewards. And by the time I wanted to look back into invincibility anyways, well, the scry entirely had been disabled and therefore my invincibility had been patched. Weirdly enough, which means maybe I'm getting tracked here, who knows. So not only did I find quest repeatable rewards the same day as invincibility, but during the actual same few minutes. At the end of my interfaces inside the free-for-all portal, a Death Plateau quest reward screen popped up. I thought this was amazing in itself, as my first thought was, well, now I can transport this XP anywhere, even to LMS, and possibly negate the attack XP because XP in LMS is always negated. Well, as we know, I've tried this with other quests like Priest in Peril, and unfortunately it did not work because, like I've said before, wherever you gathered the XP in the queue of your player initially is where the XP will be truly calculated on your player. But there was even a second breakthrough. Because I just had fortunately and luckily talked to this NPC twice in the prior testing process, a second quest reward screen pulled up inside of Free For All. I had gotten 2 XP rewards from Death Plateau quest.
Alright, fucking app. This account is nothing, cunt.
Wait,
I've stripped
what is
my
that?
account.
What?
And that is when I realized this was something even more major than I could have ever dreamed of. Even if I couldn't make some cool accounts by nulling this quest XP because the quest itself actually stays yellow during this process, I could instead even make a more ridiculous account by repeating the quest XP itself, since there are no current methods for low-level 10 HP attack peers. Well, besides those god-awful 1.7k XP per hour dig site finds. I went through a long list of quests and basically found out that, well, I got lucky as hell. Almost no quest worked the same way as Death Plateau, and out of over 60 quests I tested, only 4 had seemed to have repeatable XP, and these 4 of course now are patched, so don't go trying this at home, kids. Also, you might get permanently banned, obviously. The determining factor for the repeatable quest XP though was as follows. If the quest stays yellow in your quest journal, but you can click off the dialogue itself before the screen and still the trigger of the reward, then the quest completion and reward itself is a low priority, allowing you to hold other interfaces in front of it and hard action to repeat the dialogue again and again. Similar to the feud quest in my last video, after you hand the ending quest NPC of Death Plateau the required items, you can then click off the dialogue and auto-complete the quest without going through his entire chat. So if you never click off that dialogue and instead just write a script like me to keep 0 interface 1 tick use hard actions throughout the settings keybind panel, well, that meant I could indefinitely talk to this NPC and repeat the ending of the quest until a 6-hour log would force my character into a fake log and just start dropping the quest reward interfaces instantly, as well as that attack XP. So fuck it, that's exactly what I did. But I found out early on there was a few errors in this method. If the slightest server lag occurred, well, your account would actually complete the quest, meaning you would end at whatever attack level that lag occurred. So the safest route if I wanted 99 attack was to actually go and prepare a few stackable interfaces at first in the Tizar fight pits in case of a lag and for a backup of XP. So with this specific script and about 5 minutes of preparation in the fight pits, I could run through an account with 1 to 99 attack in only 2 hours of game time.
Start script.
After about halfway through this process of dropping the XP, I realized something kind of horrifying. I was dropping an infinite amount of steel claws under my body. So I decided to act quick and interface walk my way over to behind the Heroes Guild where I could secretly drop these claws so no one could see them under my body.
The Trail of Claws.
There you go, that's how I got actually over 99 attack with only 10 HP and a little bit over 2 hours of game time. This also once again meant if I was even more sinister in my actions, I could get tracked on Crystal Math Lab and put all-time attack XP records in the game. But I just wanted 99 attack on a really stupid account. So yep, that's how I made a 10 HP 99 attack account in less than 2 hours, which was the first of its kind in the entire game after 8 years. And the best part was, I once again did this on a virtual machine, and I did this 4 months ago. it still exists to this day. In fact, I'll even log on it right now and go collect my cape, something I never really did because at the time I was too preoccupied playing my hardcore Iron Man. You can even look this one up on the high scores right now if you want to before it gets banned as well. The name should be the one right here in my video. Yeah, it's been 5 months since this recording right here. Actually over 5 months. This recording right here is, well, basically me getting 99 attack with 10 HP with this really fucked up method that I just showcased with 99 attack and 10 HP. What is the date again? August 30th, 2021. So there's no filter that Jagex has that shows them a level 3 just got fucking 16.6 mil XP overnight. And this account survives to this day, months and months later. So, you know, I can't even get inside of here. I don't even have the stat requirements for the dig site, so I can't even get inside of here. And he could easily look me up and be like, oh, this guy doesn't even have dig site stats, mod, you know, but maybe he's just content. Maybe he's content with the fact that I made this fucked account in 2 hours. I mean, to be fair, it is a useless account. So
a few moments later.
But don't worry, Jagex, you can ban this account now as I don't really plan on playing this game anytime soon and haven't for the last few months. Once again, I just wanted to make a cool but useless account, just to say I did it. Also, like I said before, if these bugs get into the wrong hands, who knows? Some dude could have made mass amounts of these accounts and sold them as the rarest account to make bank on black market sites such as which, if you look in the history of or any black market site in the last few months, none of this has ever happened. Therefore, once again, surprise, surprise, I'm not in this for any of the money. Do your own research. And as we can see, this account still exists to this day, over 4 months later. There's no alarm for some random level 3 gaining 13 million XP overnight. You might want to fix that, Jagex. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the upload today, and I'll see you again this coming month, as I have a few more videos pre-recorded and coming. But as well, follow me on Twitter. I never know what's going to happen to this channel. As well, in the future, I plan on doing a lot of IRL stuff on my secondary channel, which I'll link in the description below. And lastly, I do have a Patreon if you want to support me there, and I'll see you guys in just a few more weeks.
But hold on 1 second.
While I was editing this video, this Reddit post came up, and normally I probably should stay off Reddit, but this is kind of a related topic. Invincibility Glitcher. This was posted a few days ago while I was editing this video. This here is not anything to do with this video at all. This guy right here is using a fake log to basically be invincible, and that's the easiest way to do it. But this guy right here can't attack back, he can't attack NPCs, he can't interact with NPCs. It's the basics of a fake log, which is basically just tricking the game into thinking you're logged out. So because of this post, we've got the classic, thanks Rendi for exploiting the game and preparing people to show more people how to ruin the game for others. Well, ironically, this bug right here, I've never shown in a video. Hilariously enough, this is what happens when I don't show it in a video. This bug right here has been known by less than 20 people, I'd say, in the community. And this bug right here has even been reported by people I know for months now, and nothing's been done about it. This bug has been around since mobile. It's using mobile packets to basically fake log accounts, and so few people know about it. But now I'm getting blamed because apparently my videos lead to this, even though I've never posted a video about this exact bug or how to do it or anything even related to it. So actually the videos that come out on these, as evidence, is helping fix problems such as this, because no video has ever been posted on this invincibility glitcher or this fake log here necessarily. Nothing has ever been done for 3 years since mobile came out. So that's just a quick point I wanted to get into, and I realized people on Reddit, there's Reddit detectives, they'll be like, invincibility, this video is about invincibility, so maybe we'll refer it back to this thread here. So just wanted to make that clear. This video has nothing to do with this video and whoever the fuck this guy is. And in fact, if it did, this scenario would have never happened.